And welcome back.
Hey,
welcome back to another week of the pod. Just as like a pre-note, the reason why I have a bright red face,
I didn't know what you were going to say there.
is I've just come back, literally walked through the door from having a micro needling facial.
Is that what you had?
Yes. Quite uncomfortable, actually.
Is
I
it?
thought I was going for a nice
it's
treatment,
very-
but I
supposed to be
should have
very
really
good for
guessed
you.
it's in the title, needles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had, I think it's called an Aquapure one before, which was more of a treatment and they do lots of different things and that was like nice. But then this one's more like
treatment.
intense. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it's done stuff, like my face is tingling, it's burning.
Do they do the dermaplaning before?
I didn't get that.
I was going to say, because you haven't got hair on your face anyway. But as much as I know that's a good thing, I don't like it. I don't like them shaving my hair off my
Yeah,
face.
see, I liked the idea of it and I very nearly got it done a few times, but then a few people said like...
No. The hair has to grow back, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
don't do that. Like I was,
Face
I've got
first.
my hair and all that bloody. Now, you can see it in the shadow, like a little fluff. And I'm like, I just don't want to, just want to keep it. I just leave it now, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, microneedling, self-care.
Yeah.
Well done, girl.
Yeah, I've had a real day of it today. Well, I've not stopped, to be honest. I'm actually like dead on my feet, but I did an airport run this morning.
Oh.
So at like 7 o'clock this morning, I had some colleagues to drop to the airport, and luckily, as I jumped in the car on the way, my dad's called me saying, "I'm just jumping it," because he's here at the moment. Just jumping in the car to go to the airport, and the car's like dead. It won't turn on. Any chance you can come get me? I was like, literally just passing your house, actually, on the way.
I'm just outside.
So ended up dropping 4 people to the airport, which made it even more worth it.
Yeah.
Come straight back. Liam did the run, dropped Hayden to nursery and took Kayson to his optician's appointment. I had a quick break to run around the house and put a wash on, tidy up. Went to Pilates, went for lunch, went for a facial.
Wow,
doing
that is
this.
a good morning.
After this, we're doing a little bit of venue hunting for our event.
Yes.
And
are.
then Kayson has football, so it's a full day of it.
Yeah, you are on it.
But no, I feel good. Like I'm literally falling asleep. I actually
Yeah.
fell asleep on the bed getting this done. You know when you're like, and you're like, oh shit, and she went relaxing. I was like, yes, embarrassing.
It's quite nice though to know that when you're
Yeah,
there,
it must be in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm that relaxed, especially one that like technically hurts.
Yeah.
This was after she was jabbing me with needles. She put something on it, and I was just lying there. So yeah, it was so hard to stay like awake.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been. I think I said on last week's pod that I feel like we've just fallen into quite a lazy routine because we've had the baby, and then it's been hot, and there's like a lot of excuses,
Yeah.
and we've not really
Yeah.
done much. Well, I've had a week. Me and
Yeah.
Kayson sat down and we planned something for every day of the week. So Mondays it's Monday, so we'll get into the flow of things. So Monday's just getting back on top. Tuesday is creative day. He has to draw something, build something, puzzles, whatever. Wednesday is Kayson's the cook. So he
good.
either has to learn a recipe of what we already eat,
Yeah.
or we do something new.
Yeah.
Thursday is movie night.
Yeah.
Because Liam goes to football, so it's me and him.
nice.
We put the baby to bed, then it's me and him. Friday is oh crap, I can't remember what Friday.
Friday's Friday.
Friday's Friday.
It's all in the day.
God,
Friday.
my mind's gone blank. Friday's Friday, and then Saturday's got drama, and then Sunday's our chill day.
Chill
But
day.
he has to clean his bedroom, and then we have to decide what each of the things are on the Friday. Oh, Friday's family day.
Ah, there you go.
Family activity or a dinner or something.
Yeah, nice.
So we started it last week. So yeah, Friday we went out for dinner. And then we went for a walk down Cabroy Beach, and then we had Sunday, we chilled. Then Tuesday he's been doing drawings and he built his puzzle thing that you got him for his birthday. And then he cooked Cajun chicken pasta. And then I've signed him up for something at school, which I'm waiting for the start date, but it's Technologies of the Future.
Oh wow.
So they do-
That sounds very Kayson. Doesn't
Very
it?
Kayson. So they do like Minecraft stuff in it, but they also do video editing.
Oh, wow.
And a few things like that. So I was like, great, put his
Yeah.
name down, waiting for more information. And then signed him up for football. So he went on whatever day it was, Wednesday, and he's going again tonight, and then we'll decide if he wants to do it because he gets 2 free trials. Trouble is the thing at school clashes with the timetable
what he's gonna
for
prefer.
football. He'd probably prefer the school thing, but then I think the football thing might actually be better for him because Liam can video edit
But if
and
he
play
enjoys
Minecraft.
it, you don't want to have to push them too much to do something.
Well, he enjoyed the football. We'll see what he thinks after the second session. But I think like something sporty is good for him because he does a lot online and a lot of digitally. So doing something with other kids, sporty, a bit physical, I think that would be good for him. But we'll see what we end up picking, or if I can find another team with space that has a different timetable maybe.
So you've had a busy week.
So but it's been full on.
What's the word? But
productive.
That's it.
Yeah, I feel good because, like, even though, I'm tired and stuff, like, it feels good because I feel like I've done stuff, like, good stuff.
Yeah, I just feel like my weeks are like that anyway, just constant,
Mine haven't been, so that's why I need to
So I feel like in that time, we're doing it, so it's nice. We're back to routine, we're back to hobbies, just trying to get used to all the different dates and places and what person needs to be where at what time sort of thing. So that's fine, I just... I just feel like I'm not... I think it's probably just because I need where's my timetable? Yeah. There's everyone else's timetable. Now I need to make my own and fit that in or fucking push it in. Do you know what I mean? It will get in there. You know what I mean? Because it's really important. That's probably why I'm probably feeling. I said to you when I walked in, I don't know whether to scream and shout or cry. But nothing in particular, nothing concrete. I just feel very, and I think that is that. I think everyone else has got their things sorted. Yeah. And now I need to
They got their
mine.
hobbies, they know where they're going, what they're doing.
Yeah, and now I need to get my bit in.
I feel like I'd like to have a bit more of a fixed... week structure with my things all like booked in.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to know Pilates is booked in every Friday. I want to make sure that I get back to having like a massage and things.
Well, how I'm very quick to go, no, sorry, not that day, because they're at that and they're at that, or so and so's at that. Yeah. That my thing has to go in there too. Yeah. And that's what I need to push back in. Which again, it's just because of the new term or the new year, whatever it is. Yeah. Of getting my stuff.
Well, you end up being a slave to your timetable rather than actually prioritising the things in your timetable so that you enjoy your timetable.
Even like that we said about like nails and stuff. Yeah. Before
mine are hanging off.
We'd have to turn mine off. Like booking it ahead, things like that. The same with facials. And, I was before had a good routine and I need to now, again, prioritise myself. Everyone's okay now. Yeah. Sort of. And now I need to, make that space for me and then everything should slot in because it is important.
I think booking in like the reoccurring ones or when you finish an appointment, booking it back in, I never do it. And that is easier because once it's booked, very rarely do you move it or change it. Yeah. So I think that's probably a little hack that we could...
And pushing. Like you've done this thing of making whatever
Sitting
it is every day.
down and writing it down.
Doing them things every day. So for example, that... I'd try and do that in mine. It probably wouldn't stick, but I'd try. The thing that I love is that simple is, I was just saying, I just like to walk my dog. So whether it's on my own or whether it's just with Mitch or even with the kids. Like the other day, at first it was a struggle, like get off your like screens or whatever they were doing sort of thing. Yeah. But once they were off them, they didn't want to go home. We just wanted to walk and walk and walk and walk. Do you know what I mean? And they're the things that they enjoy. So I just need to bring it back down to that as well. Stop putting my pressure on myself to do so much with them. Yeah. They're the simple things. An hour, half an hour. You know what I mean?
If you have half an hour with them every evening to chat and check in with each other, then that's all they need, really.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, mostly. Yeah. Yeah. So I've...
You got that in then.
And then we had a lovely surprise on the weekend. It was one of my friend's 40th birthdays and her husband had surprised a surprise party. And I didn't realise how intense anxious I was with surprises. I was like, come on, we have to get there on time, thinking I was going to walk in and just ruin the whole thing. I was like the first one
That's
there.
Always
Nobody
the
was even
as well,
there.
Like parking your car. Yeah. Will they recognise
it was all
my
that.
car?
I was like thinking ahead, oh, what? I didn't even tell Morgan because her son is obviously one of Morgan's best friends. And I was like thinking he was going to blow it all. Do you know what I mean? But that was lovely. Then we'd got another surprise on top because... the friends that used to live here had surprised her for a birthday, but I didn't even know they were coming. So it was a surprise for me. So when they walked in, I just burst out crying. The boys were obviously reunited. Everything was lovely. So that was a lovely, lovely weekend. And seeing them because there was here for obviously a couple more days. And I went to see the venue. That was good. Got no news, but I went to see it.
The one you've already seen?
The one they've already seen, but they wanted me to go in there when there was a wedding on to see if I wanted that sort of vibe.
You need to see it set up to know the vibe, really.
Yeah, because do you know what I have noticed? And it's not like a dig to anyone, but everyone's wedding just looks the same. Do you not think? Like, everyone...
There's only so much you can do with a
I know,
centerpiece
exactly,
and a colour.
exactly. You know, like, that sort of a thing, though. So I was just like, going in, I was like, I suppose it's... Like, I don't wonder why I'm here, but...
It's a wedding.
It helps,
Yeah.
You know, I got... It looked
Still
good.
liking
so
it,
good.
still wanting
so that
it
was
there.
good. See an extra venue on the way home, which I didn't think I was going to. So again, I've got no news on it, but it's just a little idea there. So that was good. So, yeah, good weekend, fun weekend. That was it, really.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think today's episode, we should dive into as soon as we talk about the kids non-stop, diving into how they became born into this world.
Look at how they became conceived, and I was like, Bill, come on now.
Not that kind of pod.
Come on now.
Not that kind of pod. No, I think like finding out you were pregnant, how the pregnancy went, and then giving birth.
God. Okay. Shit.
We've got 5 stories between us.
I know, yeah.
So do you want to? Should we do it in chronological order? Should we go Mason's story first?
Yeah, let's go Mason first then, because obviously Mason was...
You think I'd remember you telling me you were pregnant at that age and how big of a thing it would be, but I don't actually remember you telling me.
I actually don't remember telling a lot of my friends, actually, to be honest with you. I mostly remember it was obviously more with... I'm trying to think... Oh, so I do, actually. One of our friends, it was New Year's Eve and we were going out, you know what it's like, weeks before to get the outfit, because you started getting ready at 12 in the afternoon and all that kind of thing. So we went to get an outfit, and I remember I had this corset top, and I was always the same size, you know, like it was quite easy, you know, even the shops just stuck the same. You didn't have to, someone else could go and pick it up for me, like I know it's fine. So anyway, I tried this top on, and it was quite snug, actually. And I was like, it's fine, it'll be fine. You know, like, I'm in this, I am going to wear this.
This is my size.
Yes, this is my size. And my friend had joked to me, you sure you're not pregnant? Like that. And I was actually quite offended by it. I don't even know why.
But Are you saying I put weight on?
It was probably just my attitude at the time. Just wanted to fucking argue, and you know what I mean? But anyway, it was kind of like a thing, you know? Yeah. And then, anyway, that was that. I wore the top, wore it out. And then that was that. It wasn't until I think like February time that my brother and sister were looking after a house, and we'd gone round there, I think, because my brother-in-law said he was going to do dinner, and he's a chef, so it's like, yes, we want your food kind of thing. He said he was going to do my favourite, and I remember I was just being sick the whole time I was there, like the whole time. Then the question got asked, obviously, by my sister-in-law, and I just didn't really thought about it, to be honest with you. And
it's funny how
it's so weird, because
that should have been the first thing you thought about.
Yeah, bearing in mind, I think actually going back now, I would have actually. I'll go back to this. So anyway, that was that. Then the next morning, we got up, and I think the boys had gone out, like took the dog out that they were looking after, whatever it was. And my sister-in-law took me on the back of her moped to the pharmacy. On the way, we got caught with our helmets on top of our head. So we stopped the bike, and it was actually my mother-in-law calling and saying, I've just seen you drive past on the moped, so someone's got their helmet up, what are you doing, where are you going? Obviously, we had to just make something up, like, sorry, we'll put the helmet down, sort of thing. Went to the pharmacy, went back to this house, and I just went in the bathroom and done it, and then obviously she was like, is it done? And then
was Mitch with you?
No.
Okay.
He's still out with I think he took the dog for all. This is what I don't even know. And
You clearly didn't expect anything.
No. That's just it. I just kind of, let's go and get what's going on. And then she was like, have you done it? I opened the door and I looked at it, and I remember, obviously, it was like the 2 lines. And then I think I'd obviously had to look at the instructions, because you kind of question yourself if you've read it right.
Yeah, is it definitely 2 lines?
And then it was, and I genuinely remember kind of like not chucking it, but like flicking it back into the sink and laughing. And I remember laughing. And at that point, Mitch came in through the door down, like I was upstairs. I'm how I'm remembering it. I haven't actually ever said this story, so it's really strange saying it. I mean, some bits I might get a bit wrong or miss stuff, but so he walked through the door, and that laugh just stopped, like suddenly stopped, and I thought, shit, I'm pregnant. Like, I'm pregnant.
This is actually real.
Yeah. And then, long story short, sort of thing, he obviously sat down with his sister and told his mum.
Yeah.
And I still didn't actually say it to my mom. My mom actually said it to me because she'd already asked me. I basically, again, this is a really long story, but my nan had passed away in the December, I think. And bear in mind, I'd done this test in February. In the December before, my nan had passed away and I'd gone to England and then I'd been throwing up.
Yeah.
But my mum put that down to obviously being
Grief.
upset and grief and all this kind of thing. However, I went back to Spain in between because of how long things take with England and funerals and stuff. And I'd gone back to Spain. And I remember my mum dropping me off at the airport and saying, when you get back to Spain, do a pregnancy test. And I literally remember her saying it like this to me. And I go, what are you on about? I've never even done it. That was literally my answer. What are you on about? I've never even done it. Carried on. That was in December. Carried on. So I did that test in February. Again, going back, I had to find information about obviously my period and all things like this.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, me and my cousin at the time had got like diaries. We had all the diaries at school, didn't we? And all this.
Yeah.
And we just started writing everything in it. No, not the diaries at school, but it was like like one of them diaries. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like, you know, like a bigger diary.
Yeah.
Where you feel all grown up. And we'd started like writing everything in it. I've never wrote my period in my life. You know, there is people who write them down.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
No, I
was very clockwork. I didn't need to. For some very weird reason, I had wrote this period in my
book. So you actually knew when
so
it
I
was.
knew where I kind of was, so that obviously going to the doctors, they could work out where I was.
So you must have been about 3 months pregnant by then.
Well, I'd gone back and I went, when was my last... Can you see if there's anything in there? And she went, yeah, you're never going to believe this. I went, what? She went, it was Friday the 13th. I went, oh, shut up. Like, it's so weird how all these things, like... But that's the way
What
I can
month?
remember. October.
Right, so November, December, January, February. You were 4 months when you found out then.
I was 4 months pregnant when I found out I was pregnant.
So nearly halfway, really.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was that.
That's
and then
Mason.
the scariest person I had to tell, what I felt like had to tell was my granddad.
Yeah.
Because one of my cousins on my mum's side had her eldest quite young, and it was like a big thing, you know, like this, don't you do this, all this, that, you know, it's very
Yeah.
old school kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Someone's already made that mistake, so don't you copy.
yeah, like all that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I know, and that's what I know. And obviously then I was even younger. Having to call, and I remember calling. I was so scared, and I think even my mum was scared for me, to be quite honest. And he was probably the most chilled, like, oh, don't you worry, my love, everything will be all right. I was like, ah. He'd probably give it to my mum, but to me, it was like, everything's going to be
Well, it's
fine.
already happened at that point.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and then when I
So-
had him, he was allowed in with his shoes on the carpet. He was allowed to jump on the sofas. You know, like all these things that I was never allowed to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Mason. So again, going into the labour. Sorry, because it's going to go even longer. Going into the labour.
Because didn't you start having contractions and trying to deliver him early?
Yeah, my pregnancies are never quite straightforward, but I love being pregnant. I just love it. So my pregnancy was, again, complicated with Mason. So I'd started going into labour at about 7 months, I think it was, something like that. I've got it all in my book, but I don't actually know. But so that's 7 months. So I had to start taking medication. And it was ampoules. It was literally like glass ampoules. You had to snap. And sometimes I'd do it so wrong, all the glass would go in. You know what I mean? Then I couldn't take it. Then I'd have to waste all these things. So I had to take these ampoules every so many hours so that it would stop contractions, because I ended up in hospital nearly giving labour too early.
Yeah.
And so that was, I remember being out one night, and it sounds really bad, doesn't it? I remember being out one night anyway, and I remember not having this medication. I was like, right, I need to go home, everyone, because I am in labour. Everybody's smashed, like, yeah, right, you're in labour. And I was like, no, I need to get home to get my medication. Otherwise, I'm going to have this baby. I did go home and get the medication. And then as soon as I stopped kind of the medication when I was due, I remember waking up in the middle of the night and going into my mum. Bear in mind, I'm 16. I'm at home, still live at home. My mum, Mitch still lives at home with his mum and dad, you know, that kind of thing. I remember going into my mum and dad and being like, Mum, I think I'm in labour. She was like, you are, or you think? Because obviously I'd already been in early labour for so long. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I am. Like, obviously one coming in. And then I remember my mum timing me, running from the back garden to the front door through the house. They must have just been in awe of it. Just timing my contractions.
Why were you running?
Because obviously that must have helped with the pain. So I'm just running from the back, like, running from the back door to the front, back again, sitting down back, because this is at like 4 or 5 in the morning. We're sitting in my mum and dad's back garden, bearing in mind. And then I sat back down again, and then my mum would like count it down. That was even worse. So it was like counting down till I knew I was going to have a contraction. You know, like, so if it's right, you're going to have another one in about 5, 4, 3. Oh, yeah, it's coming, kind of thing. And then, yeah, that was it. Went my labour. My labour was quite.
Did you stay at home long?
I think by then they were quite fast. I think I went in when there was about 3 minutes apart or 5 minutes apart, something like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then went into hospital. My mum was with me for Mason's birth, because here you're actually only allowed one, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I don't know, just at the time.
I think at 16,
Yeah,
like,
just at the
no matter
time
how good whatever your relationship
Yeah.
is, at 16 you need your mum.
And I'm actually quite happy that I did have my mum there now, so my mum could experience that as well, because
Yeah.
here, you know,
Yeah, my
it's
mum
hard,
would have
isn't it?
loved to have
Exactly.
been in the room.
It's experienced that.
And yeah, she missed it.
Yeah. So it was lovely that my mum got to experience that. I remember her saying at one point, just breathe, because I think I was obviously going so red.
Yeah.
She was thinking, just fucking breathe, Charlotte. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, from when you watch films, it's all about push.
Yeah.
But actually, you're only supposed to push when you're having the contractions, and not like before, and actually only when you're fully dilated.
It's a hard thing to explain unless you're in it.
And even when you're in it, it's only because I've watched like One Born Every Minute a lot that I kind of knew these little things. Otherwise, you just think that you're constantly pushing, but you literally don't push.
Yeah.
And actually, you could get away with not pushing unless you should only push when they tell you to push.
Yeah, I think that's the point, isn't it? Again, is that I don't know anything about childbirth at all. I'm just going to try
done it 3 times.
Do you know, it's one thing I would love to learn, to be a midwife.
Yeah, I think my mum and sister have both said they would have, if they could go back, they would.
It's one thing I could get into, you know, when the kids, as they're getting older, to kind of get in my head and study, because I would love to do that. But yeah, so Mason's one was quite nice. I remember the what's it called, midwife?
Yeah.
Midwife crying. After I think it was her first delivery.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
my mum was crying, she was crying. It was quite a night, and I wasn't crying. I remember that. It was lovely, obviously. I don't think I cried on any of them. Cried.
No,
You know what I
didn't.
mean? So yeah, it was nice. I think straightforward. But yeah,
Was it quite a long delivery?
No, I don't think so. I think he was quite in and out, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in the surgery room. I remember that, because the other two I wasn't.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was because of my age or
Could
just
have been.
anything.
They might have
Do you know
thought
what I mean?
that you needed some intervention.
But, you know, I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, I think everything was fine with Mason.
So that was Mason.
That was Mason. It's really funny now, because I think I need to go to you, because I don't want to... I feel like I forgot loads of what I've gone through with Mason.
Instead of doing it in order, because you had all your 3 kids first and then I had Kayson, we'll just do one each.
Yeah, because I do feel like I've... You know, like people are going to listen to it and go, no, that you did that as well, and that happened. I'm like, so there's loads of things I've probably missed, okay? But I'm just trying to, off the top of my head, the questions she's thrown at me, nothing is pre-planned, okay? This is what I can think of.
Definitely not a planned conversation, but funny you said that, actually, because my mum messaged me after watching last week's episode, and she was like, because when we talk about rude songs, and she was like, oh, do you remember the Saturday Day song? And I was like, what you on about? Like, doesn't ring a bell. So she sent me the song, listened to it, of course, straight away. I was like, oh, that song. She was like, I told all you kids that it was Saturday Day was the words, because it's a bit of like a dance tune. It goes, Saturday Day. And I've always...
Is that the theme tune to Happy Days?
No.
No, okay. Just
No,
sang it then.
it's a bit of a dance tune.
Okay, yeah.
But like she says some words in it in between like the beat, and we obviously said, oh, what's the words? Saturday Day. So until last week, I thought this song said Saturday Day. It doesn't. It says, it's gotta be big.
I know what song you're on about now.
It's gotta be big. It's gotta be big.
I love that, because that's a song that actually still come on, isn't it?
I haven't heard that song in years.
It would come on somewhere, and I can literally imagine Bill or Shaniqua
Saturday.
Saturday, and we were like, what are you on about?
That would genuinely have happened, because I didn't have a clue that my mother told us different
parents,
words.
if you've told your children something, at least tell them when they're old enough what they need to know.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. I'll save that for a different story for another pod. But telling your kids when you've told them something wrong, Mum, Yeah, another episode.
Oh,
Remind me
okay,
of
I'm
of a
intrigued.
story she told me, which I thought was true, and it ended up not being true. And it took her a while to remember to tell me it wasn't true.
Oh, so you've gone through this
So,
whole thing.
yes.
That is actually a story. Because
Traumatized.
actually that happens to me a lot at home, because Mitch makes up these stories and I don't sometimes know if they're true or if they're not true. And then I'll start telling someone, oh no, he said that was just a joke, or something like that. And I've just remembered it as a real story, something like that.
So yeah, we'll cover that on another week's
another
one.
time. So that was Mason.
Yeah.
That was my right now
From
memory.
what you can remember in the moment. Yeah, it's hard because, like you say, even Hayden was a year ago, and it's so hard. It feels so long ago, and so much happens. To remember all the little details is hard. But right, let's think about Kayson. So we had decided that we were going to try for a baby. It'd been about 4 months of us trying and it not happening. And obviously they tell you, careful, don't get pregnant. And then when you actually try to get pregnant, you think it's so easy.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes it's easy by accident.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
4 months is obviously, in the grand scheme of things, nothing really. But
I bet it feels a long time when, like you say, you
every month you're like, oh my God, because
Yeah.
you're so scared about falling pregnant when you don't want to be pregnant that you think, like, when you come off the
one
pill,
time that's
because
it.
I was on the pill, that was obviously, you never took the pill, but
No.
I did, so that was my contraception.
Yeah.
And then
Who?
coming off of it, what's that mean? And then coming off that, you think like, oh, I've got no protection, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, of course it's going to happen. Well, no, it took about 4 months. And I remember, obviously, at that point, we bought so many pregnancy tests. I've done so many tests each month. And I remember I was up in Castella working, and I picked up a test on the way back, and I paid extra for the digital ones because the line.
Okay.
I think I had a line one at home, but I bought digital ones as well.
Because that tells you in a
Because it
more...
says pregnant, no pregnant, and you're not like, is that a line? Is that not a line?
Okay,
like.
yeah. That would have helped me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think they probably only come out around that time anyway. So I bought extra tests, and then I went home, and I remember it because it was the 22nd of December. It was just before Christmas. So I got up in the morning like I normally do. Liam used to sleep in. I used to get up for work. So I did the test first thing in the morning because they say that's the good time of day to do it because it's the most of your hormones is in your week.
Wow, see,
So if you're testing quite early, because obviously from the day that you miss your period is the day that obviously you can start testing from.
Okay.
You could be pregnant. If you take a
See what you're
again,
saying.
if you take a pregnancy test at a random time of the month, it could be that you just took it way too early.
Yeah.
You can't take a pregnancy test 2 days after having sex because it takes time to get into your system. So from the first day you miss your period, but the tests now are quite good that you could do it a few days before your missed period. So obviously I was just trying to test as early as possible.
Yeah.
But the morning wee has the most hormones in it. So I did the test, did my makeup, looked at it, looked like it was one line, left it on the side, like a bit of a hump, like go downstairs, had a cup of tea, come back up, went to the bathroom, and for some reason I could have just put it in the bin. Most of the time I just put it straight in the bin. But I left it on the side for some reason. I clocked it and I was like, is that?
Yeah.
Looked closer and it was so faint. I didn't know if I was winding myself up, like imagining things. So I went and woke Liam up and I was like, is that 2 lines? And he was like, I think so. And then I was like, oh my God. Because I just, even though you want it to be positive when you're trying, like I just expected it to be negative again. And then I think I had another test, so obviously I had to go drink loads of water, try and need another wee. And I'm sure I did a digital one and it said pregnant. So then I was like, oh my God. I had to get up and go for work. So obviously that day was a complete blur. I don't know where I went, who I spoke to, what. It was just,
Only thing that was on your mind.
Only thing on my mind. And I don't think we told anyone that I'd come off the pill. Maybe I might have even mentioned it to you, but I don't think I really did. Yeah. I definitely didn't tell my mum and that I'd come off the pill. Kind of wanted it to be a surprise. Yeah. And you also don't want the questions every month.
Yeah.
And then, so that was the 22nd of December. And I knew I was going to my mum's Christmas Eve. So then it was like, right, well, do we tell them? Do we not tell them? Because you're meant to wait, aren't you? 3 months. And then I was like, at the end of the day, like, we'll wait to tell public at that point, but we'll tell close friends and family. So I told my mum and everyone Christmas Eve. So I think it was my mum, my dad. I think Sean was there. I don't think Connor and Ricky were there. So I think we FaceTimed them. I think Rick was out Christmas Eve with her friends, bawling, crying, walking down the street. yeah,
So the whole of the high street who didn't know you would know.
yeah, exactly. She's a crier when she's had a drink. So yeah, she burst out crying. And for ages, people have been like, "When are you having a baby? When are you having a baby? When you?" Because at that point, we've been together. I think we've been together 12 years. Because we got married when we've been together 10 years. And then the first year we were married, I'd done my master's. So I didn't want, and then I wanted like a bit of a break after, and we went on holidays and things. So yeah, I think we've been together 12 years. So you can imagine how long people have been kind of waiting and asking. So yeah, that was kind of finding out I was pregnant with Kayson. And then I carried massive. He was huge. And they kept telling me the whole way through pregnancy, he's massive, he's very big. But I had a great pregnancy. I had no problems, no issues.
Sickness or nothing, did you?
No sickness, which was a concern of mine because my job at the time was like meeting clients, meeting partners, queuing at the bank. And I was like, what am I going to do if I'm in the queue in the bank and I need to throw up?
Yeah, that's the thing that kills me off. Is sickness.
So I had zero sickness, thank God. So yeah, kind of sailed through that pregnancy. I had private healthcare at the time, so I went for a scan every month. I was like, "When do you next need to see me?" He was like, "Probably not for 2." I was like, "I'll book in next month." So I went for a scan every month. We found out that he was a boy, so we decided that we were going to find out with him. And I think they normally tell you at your 5-month scan. I think we went to our 4-month scan, and we'd said that we want to find out, but I didn't expect to find out at that appointment. I thought it was the next one. And luckily we didn't change our mind because the bloke just kind of put it on, and from the previous scan where it was like a small bean, then it was just a whole baby shape. So we've got a video. Liam filmed the appointment, and we were like, whoa, like it's a whole baby. And then he was like, it's a boy, and we were like, didn't even just blurt it out. So I was like, oh wow. And then I ended up just messaging people because there was no gender reveal parties back then.
God no.
So yeah, I just messaged everyone, said it was a boy, and then I went to my mum's. So Kayson was due on the 3rd of September. I went to my mum's on the 30th of August because it's Ricky's birthday, my sister. So we went up there, we had a bit of a barbecue, and then I had some like twinges, but like, you know, nothing real serious. And then by this point I'd just finished work. So I think the week of my due date, I stopped working. So I'd only had a couple of days off at this point when I finished work. And I'd gone home from my mum's quite late from the barbecue. And then me and Liam decided to watch a film. I think till probably about 1 a.m, which was a late night. And I was thinking, well, I'm off work. It's maternity leave. I'm not due for another couple of days.
Get up in the morning.
And I've been going to bed like normal times, maybe 10, 11. This was the one night I stayed up late. The one night. But bearing in mind, I think a week before that or a couple of days before that, my mum was like, right, let's get this baby moving. She turned up at my house with my sister. We walked from my old house in Villamartin, all the way to the McDonald's in Lasagna.
Wow.
Bearing in mind, pregnant, August.
Yeah.
And back, did we walk back? I'm pretty sure we might have walked back as well. So I did like 15,000 steps with a massive belly. So no wonder he bloody came a few days after that. I woke up, I'd got like 2-3 hours sleep. Woke up, I think about 4, half 4. Went to the bathroom, come back. And then I was like, it's weird because I just come back in and Liam had woke up and was like, are you all right? And I was like, don't think so. Because when it's your first, you don't really know, do you? Like, is it not? And I was like, no, I don't think so. No, I think something's happening.
You start off a bit like, like a bit like,
Yeah.
And then it goes to a, no. I'm
I
not all
tell,
right.
This is definitely real. And it was like, boom. And I remember my mum saying, like, she was, like, her nan and, like, you know, all the old ladies in her family were like, when you drop to the floor, it's time to go to the hospital. Like, none of this time and stuff that they used to do back in the day. It was like, when you can't handle the pain anymore and you drop down, then it's time to go. Move. And my mum said she did that with one of us. She dropped to the floor and she was like, I need to go now. So that was kind of in my head. But it's weird because, like, in all the shows that I've watched, you know, you start you have a contraction, then you might have a 5-minute break, and then, oh, here comes another one, and then they get stronger and closer together. Yeah. The minute I opened my eyes and I went into labour, it was every pain. Couple of minutes. Yeah. Boom, 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 no break. So I think I timed one contraction and then I was like, there's no gap, so we need to go. Yeah. And I think my mum had already said that that's how she laboured. Like, from the minute she started, it was like...
The minute that pain
it didn't need to build up. Well, they were close together. Yeah. So it's like, from the minute I started having contractions, it was close enough that I needed to go.
It's that tightness, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the tightness and then the pain.
Yeah.
The tightness isn't the pain.
No.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
that difference, isn't it?
And from the minute, like, my first contraction and then onwards was like, wow, like, yeah, drop into the floor pain. So I'd had my bag mostly packed, but there was a few last things that I needed to throw in there. So then I just, like I say, was no idea what's going on. Grab this, grab that, throw it all in, grabbed a flannel and bits and then closed it. And then I was like, we need to go. And obviously I had to get down 2 flights of stairs because my old townhouse, we were on the 2nd floor. So I had to get down 2 flights of stairs. And then I think I just sat in the passenger footwell of the car, like, the whole way to the hospital, which felt like forever, even though we only lived like 15 minutes away. So we got to the hospital within the hour of me waking up. And they took me straight through.
Yeah.
And then I must have been contracting for a good couple of hours. I remember thinking, like, this is going to be very painful and very long, so don't ask the time. And then the next time I asked what time it was 8 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, oh, it's been 4 hours. Shit, okay. Like, wow, did well. And in the meantime, the one thing I was doing, I was in them little rooms, was I was pushing my foot against the wall. Like, say,
Just helped.
Yeah. Don't know why it did, but it helped. And then I had the flannel. Thank God I packed that flannel.
I was going to say, did you use anything?
The flannel
saved
saved my life, literally.
Yeah.
And then every now and then I was like, flannel. And then Liam would make it, like, go and make it cold and bring it back. But oh my God, that saved my life. And then getting me bits of water. But yeah, I was just literally contracting, pushing my leg. And then all of a sudden, the nurse, like, come over. And I just had this come over me. And she went, do you want to push? And I said, yeah. I didn't even, because at that point you contract and you wait until you're fully dilated. And I thought, first pregnancy, it's going to take me hours to fully dilate to 10 centimeters. So she looked at me and she was like, no, you can go, you like push. And I was like, oh my God, like, yay, I'm nearly there. And I think when I got to about 8 o'clock I think by 8 o'clock when I was like, shit. So Liam was like, you better message people now and tell them that we're in the hospital. So he messaged, like, my mum and Liam's mum. My mum come straight to the hospital and was sat in the waiting room. But then I was pushing for like a good hour and nothing was really happening. And then she was like,
what?
Yeah, I was all excited, like, yes, I'm nearly there. And then it was like an hour, like, what? I swear people say they push a few times and the baby's out. What the fuck?
Are you looking at the right fucking person?
So then she was like, oh, move, change position, which isn't comfortable doing when you're still having these contractions. And then I was knackered by then, like, I was really tired. And then she said, right, give it another half an hour. I remember her saying, give it another half an hour. And I was like, fucking half an hour, you? All right. And then I counted, like, every minute. I was like, Liam, it's been half an hour. Tell her to come back. I literally didn't say a word to Liam the entire time apart from water, flannel, because it was back to back. I literally grabbed a breath and then I'd have another one, grabbed a breath and then another one. So we didn't speak. And then she was like, okay, right, we need to take you into the other room now because I'd been pushing for so long. So they took me into the surgery room, which is where you said you were. So legs in stirrups, 3 or 4 more people around. Right, we're going to help you bring the baby. They connect you all up to monitors to make sure that, you know, the baby's okay. I didn't really start to panic or anything at that point. You would have thought, like, and it's like a metal surgery room.
It's the big
But I think I was so, like, in the zone. I couldn't even tell you how many people there were or what was going on. They'd put a suction cap on his head, which I didn't even realise. They'd cut me as well, which I didn't realise. The thing of one born every minute is they tell you a lot of that as they're doing it. I'm actually quite glad I didn't have a clue what was going on, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, just going to cut you now. We're just going to do this.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm glad I didn't.
Just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Get the baby out. So, yeah, they cut me. They put the suction cap on. It kept falling off. Liam said he kept hearing the noise, but I didn't even know that was there. So, yeah, then they grabbed, maybe they forcepted him or something in the end, I think. Yeah, and then they got him out. There was a woman on my stomach pushing pressure right down. That wasn't very nice. As the contractions are coming and as she's pushing, so they're kind of all angles.
Yeah.
Then he finally comes out, maybe, I couldn't even tell you how long, maybe 20 minutes, something like that, half an hour. And they take him, I just remember seeing him above the woman's head, walking through the doors, like out the room. I was like, Yeah, like a scene from Lion King. Off he goes. And then I was like, Liam, follow the baby. And he was like, looking at me like, oh, what do I do? Do I stay with you? Do I go?
It's
and I was
such a hard position.
And I went, follow the baby, because I just had in my head of him getting mixed up with another baby. I don't know, just them horror stories that you read. So I was like, follow the baby. So he went with the baby, and they just like cleared the mucus out, wrapped him up and whatever. And they would come back in within like 5 minutes or something. And he got like a first photo of the woman like kind of rubbing him and stuff. And then I was on the bed for another hour and a half.
Then while you had a well Brummy accent then when you just said that. Yeah, I don't know why, but it really like lifted when you just said it. What you mean, sewing you back up?
I don't think my placenta come out very well.
Ah, shit, you got to get that
because
out,
she was tugging it. Like I thought that's meant to come out in the one contraction you have after birth.
I only remember birthing that. I only remember.
You do birth it,
yeah,
basically.
But I only remember that on Lexi. I don't actually remember getting that out on any of the other two.
I don't remember. I don't remember. I just remember being on the bed and her pulling it and it taking a while to come out, and then they had to stitch me up.
Yeah.
But I remember looking at when he was born, and then by the time I got out of the room, it was an hour and a half later. So I'm on the bed for another hour and a half.
Yeah.
Like
all open.
Dead. And I remember, all open. All my muscles was aching. I remember you saying
that's
that.
my next one.
Then they took me into like a waiting room quickly, and then I had the baby, Liam's had him, we shared him, whatever. Then they brought us a little bottle and they let my mum in to like this little waiting room before we went up to our main room where you stay for 3 days. So my mum come in for a bit and then swapped with Liam's mum, so they saw us kind of quickly before we went up into our main room. But yeah, that was Kayson. Overall, I think from start to finish, 8 hours.
Yeah. It wasn't like a straightforward, but also it wasn't so complex.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when I say it to people, like I actually felt pretty okay through the whole thing.
Considering it wasn't like a textbook.
Yeah, like I didn't deliver him straightforwardly. Like there was a few things at the end. I didn't use gas and air much, but I used it to bite on.
Oh, okay.
Because I was scared of getting like lightheaded and dizzy and sick. So I sucked it a few times, but I was biting in the end more than anything. That helped. But yeah, like I remember it was your sister-in-law said it to me because she had quite good deliveries on, I don't know whether it was the twins or the first one she told me about, but she said that having like a good like headspace and going into it quite I can do this. I've got it. Yeah, I'm comfortable, whatever. And that was my thing, and I was kind of like, stay chill, stay calm, because it's only going to get worse. It's going to get worse, and like I think I'd done that so much that when it actually got worse, I hadn't let myself lose it, or panic or anything. So, and it was quite an okay environment. Like I felt okay.
Yeah, I had,
even though it was not great at the end.
Well, yeah, but like you say, that you needed a bit of help, but nothing so serious. I have to say,
traumatic.
When you say about that headspace, I obviously must have subconsciously kind of done that because having Mason so young, I was ready for anything. I could have done anything. I don't need anyone.
I think you're
I'll deliver
very
on my own.
naive.
Yeah, and everything about that, whether I breastfed him at 6, do you know what I mean? So even all of that, I'm actually quite grateful.
And you kind of go through whatever you get told. So you do it like this, you do that.
It was in a good, I think that was the positive side of it, because I just was like, I've got it, I'm doing it. It is, it is what it is. One just really quick thing, which helped.
Yeah, good.
With Mason, because actually Mason was probably my nicest labour. Labour's not nice, but the nicest of labours. Do you know what I mean? Which probably the best thing.
Unusual,
which again, I don't know if that was again my age, just generally
Well, you've got
that baby.
more. You've got worse at worrying as you've got older.
That's what I think it could have been.
Yeah.
As well as, obviously, generally, because the labours seemed to get fucking harder. Mine did, anyway. But just quickly with Mason, I remember, because I'm sure loads of people are gonna relate to this one. Bearing in mind I'm young, and this is before we've been moved to this surgery room. You're in your own little little tiny room, aren't you? And I'm pushing. I think I'm pushing anyway. But I'm like, I'm pooing myself. I was so embarrassed. I was like, Mom, like I'm pooing myself. And she was like, you're not Charlotte. There's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. I actually think in the end I made myself poo myself just to prove a fucking point that I have. And then I'd never ever forget this. I know it's disgusting, but it's labour, okay? And the mum was like, Charlotte, it's a fucking rabbit drop in there. There's nothing even there. And I remember, like, you know, the little things that they put on the bed, like the waterproof bed sheets or whatever. Obviously, they've wrapped it up and thrown it away. And I was like, and that was it then. That was over. That was like a thing. But I do remember thinking I was actually pooing. That there was just poo. There wasn't. Thinking I'm just pushing poo. All I'm doing is pushing. I'm pooing myself.
No, it's true. It's one of them things that everyone worries about. And most people that have gone through it are like, when you're in that moment, you really don't give a shit.
And I'm glad I did it with my mum and not Mitch, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But well, my waters didn't break.
No, mine
so I
never
remember
broke.
as I'm pushing my foot against the wall, I did feel a bit of like gushy stuff happening, which I think was a bit of my waters. But then I think I might have a little bit. But they are so good that they, you know, carry on. So it wasn't a big thing, but I think I was embarrassed for about half a second and was like, here's another fucking contraction.
I think I made it such a big thing because of...
I think you're more embarrassed about that stuff, though, when you're 16.
It was such a weird...
It was something I worried about and something that I really hoped wouldn't happen to me.
Yeah.
But
like
in
when
the
you're
moment...
in it, you couldn't give a shit, mate.
Yeah.
Literally. Shit, you know? But yeah, Mason...
So tell us about Morgan.
Morgan... So me and Mitch knew we wanted more, but I was a bridesmaid for my sister-in-law and I had a dress to get into. So I was told, you are not to get pregnant. You have to fit in your dress, sort of thing. Because I was, you know what I'm like anyway, I'm the kind of person which is annoying for me or not sometimes, whatever, but the fitting of clothes. If I don't eat enough, that day it won't fucking fit me right. You know what I mean? And that is how I am. So it was a thing of having to make sure in the morning I ate something to fit in this dress. So anyway... We held off. I think we went for it on the wedding, probably, or the day after, basically, because then that was it. Then that was it. Not long after, we were pregnant again. So then that was our Morgie. I was trying to think now. Again, it was a different experience, obviously. You know, because obviously having Mason so young, it was a bit more of a different experience. Yeah. Completely. Not just being young.
There's a lot that negative and worry that goes with it.
Yeah, but actually... I felt that me and Mitch made it in such a positive thing, you know, which is a good.
Well, when the baby finally arrives, everyone's then happy. But when you find out you're pregnant at a young age, it's like, what are you going to do? Oh my God, your life is ruined. But then actually when the baby does arrive, most people do rally round and they're happy about it.
Exactly. And that we did. We had a lot of support.
Put the poor teenager off for the entire pregnancy.
Yeah, luckily I didn't have long. So did with Morgan, I'm trying to think now when, I think I must have just been late a couple of days or whatever it was. And
I know.
That was it.
I think you told me like within the month of the wedding, you fell pregnant straight away.
It was quite, you know, like a textbooky thing. So went to get a test. I remember went in for a wee. Mitch was obviously waiting outside. Come out, we were waiting, and then obviously I picked it up and I was pregnant. I know that was it, kind of thing. Not that was it, but it was again just sort of like that. Obviously went and told the family. I remember telling one of our best friends, and she was obviously very excited, and then literally rang me back. I don't know if it was a couple of hours later or a couple of days later, and basically was like, I am too, I'm pregnant too. And it was me saying it to her, saying I was pregnant, her thinking, shit, I could be pregnant actually. And that made her go and do a test. So that was a nice experience to be pregnant at the same time as a friend. That is a good experience to go through. And Morgan's pregnancy, again, wasn't great. Again, none of my pregnancies have been great, but I do love it. Yeah. I had kidney stones with Morgan.
Wow.
Never had them since. That was hard because I couldn't take any medication. And even x-rays. I couldn't have an x-ray. They had to give me an ultrasound, but they proper dug in, like proper. I was literally like this, like, oh my God, you're going to actually go through me with that ultrasound, you know what I mean?
The baby, but obviously not.
No, I presume the way they do it is going under it or round it, but it hurt. So that was an awful experience. I was in hospital for a fucking couple of weeks. And I'm trying to think of the labour, going into labour. Again, none of my waters have broke. Yeah. So it's not like like you see on telly, like, oh my God, my waters are broke.
Didn't you a few times, like, the nurse is like, oh no, you're fine, you're not really, and you're like, I know I'm having this baby now,
Yeah,
or like how far you were dilated or something.
That was
I remember you having to like
Morgan.
tell the nurses, I
check
know.
me. Yeah, because none of them had actually done a thing. It was Morgan. I'm trying to think now. It's so hard, isn't it? Because it's don't want to get confused with which babies are which. But yeah, my waters have never broke. Morgan, I think I kind of wanted to wait it out a bit. I think I went and got a baguette because I knew the food in the hospital I weren't going to like. I think Mitch washed the car. You know, like random stuff. Like it wasn't like a normal thing. Oh, like I'm in labour, let's go to the hospital. It was like, right, I'm in labour. So I think I went and got some shoes as well. Something really random.
And weren't you at work? Oh, that was with Lexi.
That was in Lexi.
Yeah.
I did a full day work and everything and got cameraed the whole bloody day through. But yeah, so then I went, oh God, I'm going to get this wrong. But yeah, I went to the hospital. Then they put me on the monitors. Like you say, they try and, we're just going to wait, you know, and try and do it naturally. And I'm like, look, my waters don't break, right?
Yeah.
So let's just break them. Let's go. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like that. Yeah, you need to check. And then they checked. I was like, okay, we need to get you through and we need to get you pushing, basically. And again, with Morgan, I remember with Morgan, I went on everything. Like with Mason, I just kind of stayed on the bed. With Morgan, I went on the ball. I was on all fours. I was up against the wall. I was doing everything, you know, like every position possible to just be comfortable. And what one of the nurses had done in the end was tied the bed sheets to the back of the bed.
Yeah.
And so I could hold on it like that. So I was on all for like this.
Yeah.
Great for labour.
Yeah.
Terrible for after.
For all your muscles.
I felt like I couldn't even hold my baby.
Yeah.
I literally was like, that here was the worst pain.
I think
than
with
down there.
Yeah,
It
I think
was.
with Kayson, they put him like on the bed, and I just had my arm around him because I actually couldn't hold. And there's photos. I've got bloodshot eyes. My face is so puffy from pushing.
Yeah, that was it.
For so long.
I remember. I think they I'll never forget it. This red heart mirror. And they wanted to show me the head, and I'm thinking, I don't want to see it. I'll see it. I'll see it when it's out. Because with Mason, I found out we was having. With the other two, I didn't. So it wasn't it. I'll see it when it's out, kind of thing. And
I don't want to look.
I don't just. And I remember the way I kind of had Morgan was like sort of like this on a toilet kind of seat thing. So Mitch was behind me on the bed, and I was just kind of just in midair, but holding on to him. And I actually think by the time. Just as Morgan come out, Mitch thought, thank fuck for that. I don't think even he could have held me. Because by this time, even his arms were literally like this.
Yeah.
Obviously, me pushing.
He's trying to hold you up.
He's literally like this at the end because we've all just dropped to the floor.
So what did the nurse get underneath you?
Me.
Oh,
literally,
wow.
so they've got everything on the floor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, everything on the... So the beds... So Mitch is on the bed. I'm in front of Mitch. I'm in the air. Like, you know what I mean? They've got then the towel, everything under me. Midway, obviously, when the heads come out, brought me the mirror. No, I'll see it when it's out. No, and then push, and he came out like that, obviously. But before that, I'd done the whole pushing like that, and then finished like that. And then my mum came in, and Mitch's mum came in, and I actually don't. I think my mum held Morgan before Mitch. I think, to be quite honest with you, the way how quick they managed to bring them in, which was quite nice for them. Like you said, it was nice that they managed to quickly bring in before they take you to the ward.
Yeah.
To just get that experience, because I remember they was in there when they weighed him and everything.
Oh.
So that was quite nice, and yeah, that was it. I say that was it.
Was you in labour long with him?
With Morgan. I don't think I was in long with any of them. Like again, with Mason, I would have started my thing about 4. I don't think I went to the hospital till like 6. I think I had him at 10.
So that's quite quick.
So that's quite quick. Morgan, I'm going to say maybe my contractions would have started maybe late morning, early afternoon, and I think I had him at 6 p.m, like 1800 hours.
Yeah. So again,
more or less the
long.
same. Not quite, normalish, quite not too long.
Yeah.
All right, kind of a thing. But that one felt a bit harder, that labour.
Yeah.
That labour
tougher.
felt like, labour's
you
fucking
really
hard.
done it.
Whereas I was 16, I was like, yeah, but it was all right. That's how I felt. I did. That's honestly how I felt. Like,
how funny.
Like even the breastfeeding, the pain. The pain of breastfeeding, you cannot explain. The first 2 weeks, you can literally go, fuck that, get me a bottle. Because it's horrible, honestly. But once you have pushed through it, or if you can do it and you are lucky enough that they can latch on and everything's fine, then great. But I have to say, them first 2 weeks, even that, that is like, like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm glad I did it quite young, to be honest, because if I'd done it, I think I would have had one child, and that's all I would have had. So yeah, that was my second, my little morgie balls. But yeah, not so bad. Yeah, hurt a lot more. I felt like it got me a lot more anyway. But I was what, 20?
Well, it's 6 years difference, so
Yeah.
you would have been 22-ish.
There you go, something like that.
Yeah.
Just turning 21, I would have just been turning.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So I had Kayson at 27,
shit.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you did well then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Considering we were together from 16 to not have an accident
Yeah,
for 12 years.
Yeah.
Was quite lucky. But that's the pill.
Yeah.
Obviously, I took it okay. So, Hayden. Well, before I got pregnant with Hayden, we actually had 2 miscarriages.
okay.
So I'd heard of miscarriage. A couple close people had had them. My mum had had an ectopic pregnancy. So I knew things about it roughly. So,
But never experienced. And I have to say,
Well,
just
with-
quickly,
yeah.
I never have.
Yeah.
So it's
So you've
been
not gone
hard
through that.
for me having people around me who have gone through, and it is hard.
Yeah.
You don't know what
you
to
feel
say.
guilty almost for not having
But you
gone
don't know
through
what to
something.
Yeah,
or
it
what to
is. You're
say.
right. You're
Yeah.
right. So sorry, go on.
Yeah. So we had Kayson, like I say, it took us a couple of months to get pregnant, but no issues there. And then we'd gone on a trip to England, take Kayson to a show, my sister come with us, and then come back. Liam's actually got a photo of me and Kayson napping on the bed. Like, I just felt so tired. So I actually did take a test the day we got back, or the day after we got back, and it was positive. And I probably shouldn't have done this looking back, but I'd done it. We kind of thought maybe we would be, but we weren't sure. And then Kayson come in soon after, and Liam was in the living room, so I gave it to Kayson. I said, "Oh, go take it to Dad." And then we kind of told him, "Oh, we're having a baby." Yeah. He was still quite young. I think he would have been maybe 4, 5. But within 2 days, I think it was, I'd started bleeding while I was at work. So like spotting and stuff, which I thought, oh, it's probably a miscarriage then. I know that you can spot as the eggs attaching to the wall and stuff,
Right.
but this was quite a bit of blood. And I'd done a couple of tests.
But no pain. You didn't get pain.
No
or anything
pain,
like that? Okay.
from what I can remember, just bleeding.
Okay.
So I finished the day at work. I was actually sat on a meeting thinking, I probably
Wow.
shouldn't be sat on this meeting
No, so you
while
just
I'm
literally
bleeding. I
carried
literally just switched off like nothing was happening.
Wow.
And then went to the hospital at the end of work. So I'd left Liam with Kayson because he was like, shall I come? And I was like, well, we've got Kayson. You just stay with him. I'll just go. And I was okay. Like disappointed, but I was fine. It literally happened so quick after finding out. So I went to the hospital, went into emergencies and told them what happened. They took me up to the ward, which is quite bad really, because all the women that lose babies go up to the same ward with all the women that have babies. So I'm sat in the waiting room next to loads of people that are pregnant waiting for their checks
obviously, I
and
wouldn't know.
stuff.
That is
Yeah,
crazy.
all in the same place, because obviously they're all the specialists, which I get, but not very, not
no,
thought of
that's
very
not
well.
very thought of at all.
You know, and like I say, I wasn't massively affected, but there's women that go through
Yeah.
multiple miscarriages that, you know, have an IVF and all that. And yeah, it's not really on that it's you get sat in the room with everybody else. But anyway, they took me through, and I had a really nasty woman, to be fair. So I told her the story. I took a test, said I was pregnant. I'd missed my period. A couple of days later, I've started bleeding. So she had a check. She said, no baby. She was Russian, I think, or one of like Eastern European countries. You could tell by her accent the way she spoke Spanish.
And they're quite straight, aren't they?
Very
anyway?
straight, yeah. No baby. I was like, okay. And then I questioned myself. I was like, so...
Was there?
And then she did a pregnancy test. She was like, you're not pregnant. So then I actually was like, well, was I? Like, because that probably would help with how you feel. Like, I haven't lost the baby. I just, you know... But yeah, I was. But she was very blunt, very rude. No baby. See you later.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was in and out within like 5 minutes.
That really frustrates me. That's a general thing anyway, that you're not a person.
How does she know how many miscarriages I would have had?
Yeah.
Like how badly I might have taken that. Like it was very,
Yeah.
like, you know, luckily I was...
There's nothing there, get over it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
to the point that I actually was like, well, was it a false positive? Maybe. But anyway, so I kind of, got on with that. They say normally that you should wait, I think, a couple of cycles before you try again. I think we might have waited a month, and then I was like, it was quite a natural, it happened quite quickly. We'll move on. And then we got pregnant for a second time in the March, I think this was. So this was 2 months after. I can't really, I think I did the test again, but this time obviously we didn't tell Kayson because he was like, he actually told one of the mums at school, my mum's got a baby in her belly, but I'd already miscarried at that point. So I was like, oh, no, you're mistaken. Don't be, and I had to explain to him after that that's why, but we weren't lying. But then I had to say to him, oh, no. Didn't tell Kayson this time.
Course.
And then, so we found out we were pregnant, and then I obviously wanted to have a scan as quickly as you possibly can. But I wasn't really, I think I was just excited. I don't remember wanting to have the scans for worrying.
Okay.
Because I hadn't really heard of people that had 2 miscarriages in a row.
So it didn't affect you in a sense of...
No, not really.
It didn't make you want to not get excited. It didn't want to make you not... Obviously, I can understand not telling Kayson, that's obvious anyway. But,
not really. Yeah. So I think because I'd heard of miscarriage, because it happened so quickly, it was like, I'm disappointed. Yeah. It's a bit sad, but it happened so quick after that I was like, I did get over it quite quickly. Yeah. I wouldn't say I was really upset about it.
And it didn't affect you.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And then, like I say, we waited a month and then we tried again. And at this point, I hadn't told anyone that had happened. Mm-hmm. None of you knew. My mum and that didn't know. None of you, I don't think, even knew that we were trying again. Mm-hmm. And then I got pregnant for the second time, and obviously when you find out you're pregnant on the weeks, I think it's like 2 to 3 weeks, it said on the digital test. Okay. So then I had to wait a couple of weeks. I called a few of the private clinics to book in a scan. So I think the earliest they could book me in for was like 2 weeks away. So I would have been about 6 weeks at that point of going to the appointment. And again, a friend of mine had miscarried, had a baby, had miscarried again, then had a baby. It was never really in my mind that I was going to miscarry this baby. Yeah. God, I just didn't really hear of 2 in a row, and we'd had Kayson, so I knew it was possible.
Yep. You didn't see any risk
didn't
at all,
really,
not even bringing into the fact that you'd obviously had one just before. Yeah, because I just thought, like, well, actually, I've just had one, so I can't have it.
I've had one, so this one should be okay, kind of thing. I don't really know why, but that's kind of just how I felt. So we went, had the private scan. This was actually another Russian-y lady, but she was lovely. She did the scan. She's like, yeah, I can see the baby. Here's the picture. She's like, I can't hear anything yet though, but depending on when you ovulated, you might be 6 weeks because of your period, but you might only be 5 weeks. So sometimes the heartbeat doesn't come to around 6 or 7 weeks. So come back in 2 weeks and we'll do another one. So then I was a bit like, she can't hear anything, but she really didn't seem concerned. Right. So I was like, there's no point worrying about something. Obviously I was worrying, but I'm not going to let myself worry too much. So tried to carry on as normal and went for a scan 2 weeks later. And then she still couldn't hear anything. And then I think she said, right, come back in 1 week. And she said, but just to warn you now, if next week I can't hear anything, then, that's not a good sign, because you definitely by next week. She said, now I should really be hearing it, but let's just say that the dates and everything have all messed up, and 1 more week. So then it was like, right, okay, this is a bit more serious now. So then we went for another week, and then she did another one, and she said, like, I'm sorry, we can't hear anything. She said, you've you've lost the baby. So I was a bit shocked, but at the same time, because of the previous appointments, I'd kind of...
Yeah, it was kind of
expected it. Yeah, it wasn't like I was all excited for a scan, then boom. It was like, it kind of led me into it a little bit. So it was more of a softer information to take. It wasn't as surprising. And I dropped Kayson, I think, to my mum so that we could go to the scan. Did I tell her at that point? No, we hadn't told her. So we'd gone and picked him up, and they just acted like nothing had happened. We hadn't just got that news, and we just went home. I think I cried that night. Yeah. Maybe that night, maybe even the next night. Because it was then like, are we going to be able to have another baby? Yeah. So then it was a bit more like serious. And obviously at that point, like, I'd seen it. It grew a bit. It wasn't as quick as the other one. So this one felt more like we'd lost a baby.
More of a loss.
Of a loss, yeah.
And then also, like you say, actually thinking
and
future.
Then worrying, are we going to be able to have any more?
Yeah.
You know, is this just us kind of thing? So yeah, I was a bit upset, and then I went to the hospital, to emergencies again, and said, I've just been told that I've lost the baby.
I was going to say, what did you have to do? Yeah.
So I've been told that I'd lost the baby, and then they said, okay, right, we'll take you through. So they took me through, they scanned me or give me an internal, and she was like, right, we're going to give you some medication. I think it was 4 tablets that I had to put inside, and then it kind of breaks everything down so that, because I had no signs of miscarriage. I wasn't bleeding, I wasn't cramping, so the baby had passed, but my body wasn't getting rid of it.
Hadn't rejected it.
So it's called a missed miscarriage. Because you miss it because you don't know.
Yeah.
So you have to like spur it on. So they gave me 4 tablets to put in, and then another set for the next day or something. So a couple of days worth of tablets. So she said, go take it. It will, spur things on. You are going to get cramping. Take, painkillers and stuff like that, and you'll start bleeding. So I went home. This all happened on a Friday, which was great because it ended up I had to go back a few times. It was all Friday, so then I had all the weekend to like chill. But I took these tablets, and it did like instantly happen. I had weird feelings all over my body. I had the shivers. I think my hands might have even gone a bit weird again.
Appendix.
So it wasn't nice. I just kind of laid in bed. And then kind of bled, went to work on Monday.
Did you get a belly ache?
Carried on. Yeah, I had cramping pains. Cramping pains, bleeding. And then
that's got to be hard as well, because as much as you're
trying to physically go through it.
I was going to say, as much as you're mentally trying to deal with everything.
Yeah.
And as much as it may be easier to deal with that, you're feeling and seeing this happening.
Yeah.
At the same time, on the other side, you could have dealt with it here.
Yeah.
And actually, this is reminding you and taking you back.
Well, yeah, because like...
Which obviously I know it's got to happen, but
when
you know
something
what I mean?
happens, then you start moving on from that point. But when you're still going through it, it's like you're not really processing it, because I'm actually having to focus on getting through physically before I can then go back to feeling it emotionally. So then I went back for a checkup, and they checked me and they said, you've lost some of it, but you haven't lost all of it. So go home, take more tablets. So I did the same thing the week after, went back the next week, checked me over. You're still not getting rid of it all. So that was it. I went for this final checkup.
That's nearly like a 3-week, 4-week.
Yeah, this all happened. Literally took like probably about 2 months of the multiple scans, then the going back to the hospital. So it was like draining for 2 months. And then so Liam was like, do you want me to come in? I was like, no, because like I've done it twice now. I'm sure everything's fine. So I went, and then they were like, right, so we're going to, have you eaten today? I think I had like an early morning appointment. Have you eaten today? No, because I don't eat in the morning. Yeah. Right, okay, so can you get someone to come pick you up in a bit if we take you straight down now into surgery? Wow. I was like, Liam. So he obviously had to drop everything, come to the hospital. Took all like my jewelry off. They took me in for surgery, and it's called I think a DNC. So they basically scrape the uterus and get rid of all the stuff that your body's not naturally getting rid of. They put me under.
Was that under general, was it?
Yeah, completely knocked me out under, and then woke up. Don't know how long it took, and then took me straight out and then kind of got on with it. So that was like the last appointment. There was nothing else that I needed to do at that point.
Yeah.
But that was tough. I don't think I'm hugely emotional when it comes to these kind of things.
No, you're not.
Weirdly, I don't know why. I think it's very easy for me to kind of cut off how I feel.
Yeah, but I also do think you deal with it in your own way, though.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like
I bottle things.
You have your little think about it.
Yeah.
And you might do a little something to kind of, I don't know, put your thing on that thing.
Yeah.
But it's not a whole...
Yeah, like I know some women go through it. Like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with however you deal with it, and it really really affects them. They can't work, they can't, and for weeks, months, however long, and then they think about it even on the anniversary and stuff. And I'm sure if I'd have gone further in the pregnancy as well, that would have been a bigger loss, because you get really excited, you feel it, you have dates, you start thinking about stuff, names and all that. in the grand scheme of things, it was very early, and it's before the 12 weeks, which is, is the higher risk time. So I feel like I did I cried, we cried together. And then that was kind of just maybe 1 or 2 days, and that was it.
That was it.
I did kind of say to Liam, like, you don't seem bothered.
Or you thought he didn't seem.
He was acting
as if
to me that he wasn't bothered. But even I had a conversation with him today about maybe talking about this on the pod, because I haven't really spoke about it much. And he was like, I was sad that it had happened, but I was more at a loss of what to do to help you.
Yeah.
And then I just felt useless, and I just kind of, was probably avoiding talking about it, just trying to help you. So, it's just a weird thing, because no one really helps you know how to handle those situations. Everyone handles it differently as well.
I was going to say, every person is
I don't really know what I wanted him to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I wasn't majorly traumatized or upset or anything that he had to console me or anything. So he probably didn't know how to help, because I wasn't super emotional and upset, but I was still upset.
Yeah.
It was a bit.
And even if probably whatever he did, it wouldn't have. Never been, it might not have been right anyway.
They're not mind readers,
whatever
are
exactly.
they?
It's a little bit when we're in labour.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter what they did, because you don't even know what you fucking want.
No,
so
exactly.
It's such a hard position, I think, for the partner to be in that situation, because we're feeling it.
Yeah.
We're feeling everything.
Well, that's what
no
he
matter
said.
what we're going through.
He
We're
was
feeling
like,
it, aren't we?
When you find out you're pregnant, it's you and your body. Like, I know I'm going to be a dad, but
that's it.
For you're already a mum.
And our bodies are changing.
You already feel like a mum, whereas they don't. So it doesn't hit them at that point. Yeah. And obviously we'd had Kayson, so it kind of gets you a bit more upset, because it's like, oh, that could have been that, and what were they, and all them kind of questions. So it was sad, but I feel like I did kind of get up and get on with it.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a day off work.
No.
Wow. Which, looking back, I probably should have took a little bit more time to myself.
I think for the body, like I said, I think the first one that you went through, not that you wouldn't have, I don't mean that you shouldn't have had any time or anything, but I think you're right in the fact
that was more,
not that you shouldn't have felt anything, but it was just one of those things, and it was an unfortunate, I do, like, the second one was a little bit more of a very nice experience.
It was something I actually had to go through, whereas the other one I don't feel like was hugely compared to the second time.
It just wasn't meant to be that one.
And I am, that's probably why I was like quite good at getting over it. Going through the second one was definitely tougher. And like I say, I did cry on that one. But I think I have always been one of them people that believes that your body wouldn't get rid of a healthy baby. So I kind of, and at this point we're talking about cells. I didn't lose a big baby. Like, I think that is definitely going to be real tough. And, even losing cells is big to some people and affects them highly. But for me, that's just kind of me and my experience.
And it hasn't changed you, or it didn't change you going forward for the next one?
I think I was a little bit nervous.
Was Hayden then the next?
Yeah, Hayden was the next one. So we went through that in the March, which then took me to the May. So I think I officially lost the baby and went through all of that in the May. I did, because it was Liam's mom's birthday and we went out for dinner and stuff like that. I did just kind of get on with things. But then I think it was...
Which is a good thing in a way.
It helped in a way, but I
maybe
feel like
not so much.
I feel like I go too much of acting like everything's okay, whereas really I should have been like, you know what, Liam, you go for dinner for your mum's birthday.
I don't think
I'm going to sit this one out, or I'm going to have a couple of days in bed because I need to just, So I go too far the other way. I think I should allow myself a bit more. But anyway, that was the May. Then I found out I was pregnant with Hayden in the October. So we did have quite a few months. I think I did wait a couple of months after that because it was a bit more of a thing on my body. So I think we did wait like maybe the June, July, August.
So that's still not a long time.
No, still not a long time. But some doctors say 1 cycle is enough. Some doctors say 3 cycles. So I think we waited a couple.
So that's 3 pregnancies in 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you think of it on your body.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, I've been pregnant more times than you.
Yeah, you have. You actually have. You're right.
Yeah, then we found out I was pregnant in the October. So I'd been out for dinner and drinks with loads of my colleagues from London had come over. And I just had this weird thing of, do you know what? I'm not going to drink, guys. I'm going to drive. I'm going to drive everyone to the restaurant. I'll have one drink. I didn't know I was pregnant. I knew that there might be a chance. And we'd been to Warner Brothers in Madrid.
That was a whole day out.
I was technically pregnant then and didn't know it. Because we went on the bank holiday weekend of like the 9th of October. I found out I was pregnant on the 19th.
Yeah, we went on a full-on theme park day. Full-on city holiday, wasn't we? Walking, underground train.
And I didn't feel like I could be pregnant then. But yeah, the week after, I just had this instinct to like not drink. And then the very next day I did a test.
That's
and I found
weird,
out.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I usually go out and get absolutely smashed. And then I fucking think, shit, I might be pregnant.
Damn.
Shit, I thought that.
I'd probably done that with Kayson, but yeah, I just had a weird thing of I just didn't feel like drinking, which I'm never normally the driver, am I?
No.
Ever. So yeah. So yeah, found out I was pregnant, and then I was probably a little bit nervous at the beginning. At this point, when I got called in to stay in the hospital for the D&C, Liam had then I'd FaceTimed my mum.
Oh yeah, of course.
From the hospital because nobody knew I'd gone through anything.
Yes, it's
so
about
I
that
FaceTimed
as
my
well,
mum from the hospital to say this is what's happened. And I think Liam then dropped Kayson to my mum and then came and met me. So then they found out after the second one.
Yeah.
And I think I told you guys after the second one as well.
And then about the first as well.
And then I told you about the first one that had happened, then I was a bit nervous at the beginning, but then everything went okay. Weirdly, from very early on being pregnant with Hayden, I couldn't sit down very well. So, you know, when like, if you've ever fallen like on your rollerblades and you fall on your ass really hard,
like your bum bone.
and then you feel like your bum bone is bruised. Well, I felt like that constantly. Constantly. So standing up fine. Sitting down actually gave me pain. Like lying on the sofa like that was okay, but if I wanted to sit upright on a desk chair to do my job, it hurt. So from before I even had a bump, this wasn't a weight problem.
Yeah,
this
was
just
a position or something.
Pregnancy weirdness. So from the 8 weeks pregnant, I had this bloody pain.
That is early on as well, Bill.
Yeah, and actually, I'll get it to show everyone. I've still got it. Liam come home from Lidl, you know, in the mystery aisles. This cushion saved my life.
Wow.
I took this cushion.
That does actually look really comfy.
It's really comfy.
I feel like this reminds me I need a mattress topper.
So he brought that home one day and I was like, oh my God, amazing.
Oh,
so
it is nice though.
I sat on it, I drove with it. That cushion come everywhere. I even took it to, I think, dinners out when I was pregnant to sit on it.
That is a nice cushion.
So yeah, I had that. I had nosebleeds with Hayden that I'd never had.
I think a nosebleed, I know that will.
I had nosebleeds that I'd never had a nosebleed in my life, and I had like 3 or 4 while I was pregnant with him. So nothing like weird, complicated pregnancy, but yeah, the sitting down thing and a couple of things I'd never experienced before. And
then you had an experience with Kayson because it was just like, oh, this is fine. I'm just pregnant. I don't feel sick.
Exactly.
I don't feel achy. I don't feel heavy. I just
no problem. Yeah. So then woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, the exact time I woke up with Kayson with Hayden. Went to the bathroom, come back, waited half an hour. Liam, I'm definitely in labour, right? And obviously we've got a kid in the house now.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to stay at home as long as possible this time. But again, same thing happened. Right, no, within 20 minutes, call your mum, tell her to come round, we need to go. Pain, contraction. So he called his mum and dad. They got here within like 10, 15 minutes. And then they walked in. I walked straight past them out the door. I didn't even look up. I was like already in deep contractions at that point. We got to the hospital. So I woke up at 4, woke Liam up at 4:30. By 5:30, we were in the hospital. The minute I arrived, they took me straight through. The woman was like, we'll just get you up on the bed to check you. The minute she said that, I just started bleeding. Like something, I don't know, moved, popped, whatever. Blood just fell out. Then I got up on the bed, said, yep, take you through. You're fully dilated, ready to go. So even faster than Kayson this time. But I'd done a few extra things like raspberry leaf tea, like this specific oil stuff. Like I did
massage. I
did all these extra ate loads of pineapple.
Yeah.
All the things to soften your cervix, which is meant to make it
Yeah.
go faster, which I think it helped because it did. But with Kayson, the majority of the time I was on the bed like this, as every woman is on every film I've ever watched, which is actually the worst position because I started watching YouTube videos with that pregnancy, which I never did with Kayson, because I thought watching One Born every minute would give me all the information I needed to know, but no.
No.
And then you told me all the positions you were in. So I was like, I'm going to get up on the bed that way.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I did. I walked straight in, up on the bed that way. I'd already got up on the bed before like they'd even let Liam through. So I'd stripped off, climbed on the bed, having contractions. Then they let Liam in. I remember just him appearing here. But again, I was so in a zone. We didn't speak again. Then they put my drip in me. Or whatever it was, and then I remember like having a few contractions, and then she told me to turn around, I think because I think I was ready to push, and as I moved it all fell out my arm. Liam said I was squirting blood out my arm. I didn't have a clue any of that had happened. I felt it fall out and
but you
then
don't
put it back in, but I wasn't paying attention. And then I think 5-10 minutes of pushing or something, a few contractions, and then he was out, and then they put him on me.
Yeah.
So I got that time. I didn't get that with Kayson because he got walked out.
Okay.
So then they put him on me, and I didn't find out what we were having with Hayden either. So it was like, done. And it was just like one person delivering it as well. I did go straight into the surgery room though for some reason. But it wasn't as busy as last time or as chaotic, and like I felt like I was doing it this time rather than it was happening to me last time. But anyway, straight on my chest, which was nice. And then, I think she even took a couple photos or whatever. And I didn't cry. I don't really get the emotions that like.
I don't think
I get the relief, but I didn't get the cry instant like emotion. And then it was about 5 minutes, and the woman was like, "You don't know what you're having, do you? You haven't even looked." And I was like, "Oh
my God."
I'm there like, okay. So then she looked, she's like, "Oh, it's a boy." And it's funny because all the way through my pregnancy, everyone told me I was having a girl.
Yeah.
I carried a bit differently.
Yeah.
I had no sickness again, but I carried a bit differently. The scans of the face were very similar, but he was much more pointy and dainty, that everyone said. And the heartbeat, everyone said it was a girl, but no.
He was a
boy.
Definitely a boy.
Definitely a boy, yeah. Size of his balls, he was definitely a boy.
You saying that though, going back to Morgan, when I was pregnant with Morgan, I had to have like a waistband thing, like a big support.
Yeah.
Because I remember having this pain here.
You can get pelvic pain.
Yeah, it was a proper ache, and then my back was hurting. Obviously, in my job.
Yeah.
I remember Morgan being. I think I actually stopped work like a few weeks. That's not that long, I know. But over here, we work up until literally in labour.
Some women in England finish 2 months before.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
So I think I only stopped like 2 weeks before my due date, which I felt a bit like defeated by, like failure, which it's not.
No,
but that's what I felt a little bit like. I'm gonna have to.
I finished 2 weeks before my due date
because I just couldn't. I couldn't do that. It didn't help, but it was just my job to not have to sit like this, and my belly was literally poking, obviously, patients.
Yeah, I was quite busy, so I had quite a stressful job while I was pregnant with Hayden, but I just had a real feeling that he was going to come early, and obviously I had Kayson early, so I thought he was going to come earlier. And I didn't want to have finish one day and then have him the next day. I actually did want a week. Yeah. So I ended up finishing 2 weeks before my due day, and I had him 2 days early. So I'd had a good week and a half at home.
I'm trying to think. Mason came on time in the end, obviously, but just from the holding off a bit. Morgan was, I think he was on time as well. He might have been like a week late or something like that, because I was at the same time as there was 3 of us basically who had the due date. I think one was early, one was on time, one was like 2 weeks.
I remember.
And it was our friend, and she was literally like, "Nobody
Stop messaging
me. I will let you know when I've had the baby."
Went over,
because she was the last one, bless her, to actually give birth. But I remember having that waist thing with Morgan, and that hurt that. But with Lexi. Oh God, you know what? It's so hard, isn't it?
Well, you fell pregnant by accident, and I was getting married.
Oh yeah.
So you were like, "Oh no,
that was it. At the head.
And then I was like, "Well, you wanted another child. Yeah. It's just she's just coming probably a year too early." Yeah. Well, at that point we didn't know. No, it was coming.
It was it was in it. So, but I embraced that. It was fine. It just had to sit out on the activities that I'd planned because I was fully pregnant. Yeah. So. yeah, and again, Lexi was. So I think Lexi was an all right pregnancy. Sickness, it's awful. All my labours, terrible sickness.
Boys or
I have
girls?
medication. I have to go. I'm like the princess.
Yeah.
I just don't get put in hospital for a month or whatever. But yeah, I have to go on medication. Like, I'm bad
Yeah.
sickness. To a point when
That
I think
HV one.
that one
or
would
G
put
one.
like really bad. I don't know what it's called, but
Yeah.
it is bad anyway. Luckily here they put you on medication. I don't know if
I think it's really hard to get medication in England, but yeah.
and it helps, and all my kids are fine, so that's fine. And with Lexi, I'm trying to think, everything was fine. Was labour fine? Because I knew with Morgan, I was told by the midwife I had to walk for an hour a day. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I was big. I wasn't, but
I had friends that were told that they were overweight, and it's like, you're growing a baby. Everyone carries differently, and everyone puts on
a
different...
day. I walked it over the bridge, all Lasagna round, back over that bridge. Like, with my sister-in-law, I did it. Like, we did it. She didn't even need to do it, and she came with me. But yeah, no. I remember being told that I had to walk. Was that with Lexi? Could have been with Lexi. But anyway, with one of them, it wasn't all of them. Only one of my pregnancies, I was told I had to walk anyway, and I did, an hour a day. Lexi's pregnancy, labour. I'm trying to think now. I know it was late. It was later on in the night. But again, we went in, contractions, thinking, you get to a certain point, that's it, I'm ready now, it's just coming out kind of thing. And I remember him saying, oh yeah, you're 6 centimetres or whatever, and then coming back not like a bit later and then saying, yeah, you're still 6 centimetres, and I was literally like, what the actual fuck? Like, no,
I've done this twice
no,
before.
No,
mistaken.
like, yeah, I know this is coming. Like, they're professional. Everything they're doing, they can see everything what's going on. But I know. But yeah, no. So that was a bit long. But basically, what happened was she was just rocking.
That's
and
what
the cord was
I
around her
did
neck.
to my mum.
Yeah, so the cord was around the neck, and basically, I remember
they left my mum for a day and a half.
Mitch was next to me, standing next to me. I wasn't in like the nice bedroom like I'd had with Morgan, the nice lamp on, and you've got a ball here, and you've got a lovely heart mirror there. This was in like a big yellow chair with stirrups. And,
I was in the yellow one with Kayson.
So that was like a room. That's what I felt like.
It's as wide as the bed.
It is. And I remember I actually pulled things off it. The little handles that you've got, they came off at one point. That's how much I'd pulled that. So, but I remember Mitch was standing next to me. Didn't want to hold his hand. Didn't want to give him to cuddle. I had his pocket. Like, imagine your pocket. I had it like that. That's how I had his pocket. I didn't want anything else. I just wanted to hold his pocket like that. I don't know. Just made me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I remember
like
that
flannel.
Yeah, that was a vivid thing. I remember him moving away, and then he came to bring me his hand, and I was like, I didn't want your hand. I wanted his pocket back.
Yeah.
And basically, so then I was like, shit, like it's not coming. Like how I thought it was going to come. And then they come in with a trolley, and you see all like the instruments being whacked out on the table, and I was like, they are not going near me. I will get this baby out. And literally at that time, I was like, right, I've got to go into like,
I've got to try.
Stop being a fucking idiot, Charlotte, and just fucking, push and help these people,
So you didn't want intervention?
No. So basically what they had done, as I was pushing, they'd kind of twisted her around like that, I think.
What, by pushing your belly?
Some people were pushing, and as they were pulling her out, they were turning her.
Okay.
So every time I'd push...
So that she wouldn't go back in?
Yeah. So then... Because I've had no gas and air on any of my children, nothing, because that scares me.
Yeah.
Epidural and gas and air scares me more than pushing.
I used to always say, I want a
weird,
C-section, but when it actually came to it, I was like, no.
No. That
give
all
me the thing to chew
me.
on.
Yeah.
That helps.
I'd have that. I knew I'd be sick. So
well,
I'm sick anyway.
I
so
just
imagine
bit it.
gagging and trying to push at the same time.
You're a gagger as
it's
well.
hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Gagging and push. Push. It's hard. So I'm trying to help myself here, even though Mitch was begging me to have the gas and air because he wanted to go with it. I was like, no, I don't want it.
Yeah.
So then, they'd got her out, Lexi's out, and they'd said it was a girl. This is the reaction I remember the most, because I didn't realise, obviously, how much I obviously wanted a girl.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Because in my head, I was always having 4 children. So in my head, I was like, not that you can choose, I'm going to have 3 boys and then a girl.
Yeah.
So when they'd said it's a girl, I was, oh my God, it's a girl, oh my God. And I remember saying that. Then remember the placenta again. I don't remember birthing that for the other 2.
I don't remember.
I really
with
don't.
Hayden what happened there.
But I remember him saying, right,
Hayden
now
either.
you've got to push again. That's because I honestly don't remember having to push again with the other two.
They're another baby.
It was with Lexi. I was like, fuck. But I think because it just felt like so long, which it wasn't, but it felt longer and harder. And so I remember getting the placenta out, and I remember whacking it on this trolley because I'd never even seen one. I know it sounds stupid, but and then I remember her proper rubbing it. Like a butcher would rub a bit of good meat. I'm not even joking. This is how it's so vivid. This bit, that is a good bit of that is. And I felt, yeah, thanks. I've done well here. Not the baby that I've just perved, but that placenta is banging. I was proper like, yeah.
In England, you could get like companies that come
I think
and
she was
take
trying to sell it me, but I didn't want it.
And put all of that into tablets. I would have done that if they'd offered it me, but I didn't know.
I would have sicked it straight back up.
Some people come and they take stem cells from it as well to donate for research and stuff.
There is apparently big health benefits, but no, I'm a little bit more old school. But I was quite proud. She loved that bit of like it was that like proper like rubbing it.
I remember. I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been Kayson. No, I don't think it was Case. Oh, I don't know which one it was. But one of them, they went, "Oh, do you want to cut the cord to Liam?" And Liam went, "No."
Oh, I think.
And I went, "I'll do it," and then I did it. So I can't think who that was.
I'm trying to think if Mitch cut Lexi's cord because I don't think he did on the other two. This is so bad.
It might have been Hayden just because of like him being on me, maybe. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I cut one of them.
And now I kind of wish that. Obviously, I think it was a bit different, but like with the one born every minute, I wish I had something like that to watch.
Yeah, I said to Liam a few times, "I'll film," and he's like, "How do I film and be there and stuff?" But there wouldn't really have been much to see if you actually watch it back. But the actual moment they come out, maybe.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice because I feel like had out of body experiences. Like I'm watching myself. Like when I think about it, I'm like watching myself in the moment.
That's because you do. You're trying to think of.
I don't have anything. It would have been nice to see it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, a lot of time after, like now, like in ages.
And before, like my sister would joke, like, "Oh yeah, you're not hard enough," kind of thing. And I'm like, "Watch me."
Yeah.
Like I bossed that.
Fucking watch me.
I bossed that. I remember as well.
Watch me.
Afterwards, I was so swollen with Kayson, and I'd had so many stitches. But my sister was like, "Can I see?" I was like, "It's gross if you want to." So
what stitches?
Yeah. To look at it, but it was so big and swollen. They did bring me condoms full of ice.
Yeah, I've someone else, one of our friends who had gone to, and she was like, "Look what I'm sitting on," and I was like, "What is that?" Because I'd never seen it before. I did get cut and stitched on all of mine. I think even with Lexi, I was like, "Put a few extra in." Like just a few extra. But with Morgan, I remember, I think it was like a junior and whatever. They'd done it, and then obviously the one who was teaching her wasn't happy with it, so they had to take it out and do it again.
Oh no!
Yeah, bearing in mind I have no pain relief. They do inject you for your stitches. Don't get me wrong. But then that's the horrible bit, isn't it? Because you have to then go and get them checked. That's the bit, and then they have to check that you can.
You've got pelvic floor muscles. Yeah. I was okay. You suffered a bit with that. One of
mine.
I did with Hayden, actually.
It was one of mine. It was like...
Yeah, so with that's one thing that I worried about with my stitches, actually, with Hayden, because with Kayson, because they'd injected me to cut me, to help me.
Yeah.
And then I was like the ring of fire, they say, when the head's coming out, the burn. I didn't feel that with Kayson because I'd already been injected and cut. So I was worried about that with Hayden, which I think I did feel a bit more, but I didn't have any stitches. But yeah, the pelvic floor thing, I was fine with it after Kayson. But then after Hayden, like, oh, have a wee. Oh, why can't I stop? Where's that muscle that stops you weeing? Oh my God.
Well, I didn't get that. I thought I was all right.
It took me maybe a week or so to like be able to, when you can stop yourself weeing mid
the hold thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do that with Hayden for a couple of weeks.
See, I didn't. I thought I was okay. I don't know which one it was. I think it might have been Morgan, and she checked and she went, right, if you just start doing these exercises, she didn't even tell me anything, but I feel like fuck. Like, that means something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Like, that means if I've got to go and do something. And my mum told me from 16, do your pelvic floors. Like, literally, it was such a thing that was drilled into me.
I did more pelvic floors with Kayson than I did with Hayden, so that's probably why.
Yeah, so when she showed me, I was like, yeah. And then so I started doing it when I was having a wee, because then I could tell.
Yeah.
That's my telltale. Otherwise, how do you know you're doing it right?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
You can kind of feel like
but sometimes it's not, because this is what I'm saying. She was saying I wasn't doing it and it was somewhere else. So that was my thing of, that's how I know I'm doing it in the right place. If you get what I mean? And then I was told you shouldn't do that because then you could get infection because obviously...
Oh, God.
Yeah. So then that scared me.
Oh, dear.
But that's it. I'm done. So no one's
With
checking my
Hayden, no one
pelvic
checked me
floor.
after. With Kayson, they checked me like the internal
Yeah.
afterwards, and I remember thinking probably because I had stitches. Thinking about it now, but then I remember going to my 6-week checkup with Hayden, thinking, "Oh, I really can't be asked for someone to shove their hand up me."
Yeah.
But then they didn't. Are you okay? How you feeling? Good? Yeah, baby, good. Yeah. Okay. See you later.
Oh.
It's like sweet.
Yes, I would have rather, though that's nice, in a way you want to be checked,
I was a bit
don't
like,
you?
can you check that like all the pieces are still
Yeah.
there? That there's
I'm not
nothing,
falling apart.
There's nothing falling down that shouldn't be falling down. But maybe because I didn't have stitches, they didn't check. But yeah, like there could be internal things.
Anything, isn't it?
Yeah, prolapsed womb and things.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like that we stay in here 3 days.
Yeah, that is great.
I cannot believe that. I mean, some people might love it. And maybe it's
It's
just because we're
lovely
used
to
to
have
it.
your home
but to be sent
comforts,
home an hour after I have my baby.
I get having your home comforts and wanting to be at home for when you recover on things like that. But at least a couple of days so that you know that your body is okay, that you're not going to randomly start internally bleeding, that the babies are checked regularly. Like, it's peace of mind to know that, yeah, I'm leaving. You know, your adrenaline at least has left your body by that point, not like an hour after. How do you not know that I'm about to fit and die?
No. And I remember with Mason, I don't know, again, I don't know if this is a new thing, you'd have to tell me, but with Mason, because I think it was because he was my first, because they didn't do it on the other two. On the last day, because the other 2 days, they come and take the baby, don't they? They did
take
with
it
me.
off to the doctor and
they
check
take
it.
the baby, they clean the baby, they weigh the baby,
Yeah.
and they check all its movements and whatever, and
Yeah.
then they bring the baby back all clean with a new different body thing on, which I think's lovely. Do you know what I mean? And then on the last day, they did with me. They take me to that room with all the babies in there.
Okay.
And they showed me how to bath him in the sink.
Yeah.
And dry him properly, and how
Yeah.
to move the arms, and how to dry with the towel, and all these things. And then obviously that was that.
They did it with Kayson. They brought in the bath and said, "Do you want us to show you how to bath him?" And we said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Even though I kind of could have gathered.
Yeah, but I just think
I'd
that was
rather it's
really-
nice to see,
Yeah.
because then you feel less worried about holding them when they're just like,
Yeah, they are really like this, aren't they? But
Yeah.
so that was a thing that I won't forget,
Yeah.
and that was quite nice. It made me just a little bit more reassured that I can put him in water. He is going to be okay, because you just you have that feeling, don't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, they were low. I'm definitely missed.
Oh,
so
we
much
definitely
off mine. This is
know,
going to have to be a
ran
part
through
1, 2,
this.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you as well. You said you wanted 4 kids. You've got 3, and the whole topic around when you finish. I think we'll save that for another day.
Yeah, and a lot more, because then after birth, I had a lot of complications with my babies.
Okay.
With whooping cough,
Yeah.
clicky hip.
Yeah. Kayson had jaundice.
So there's a lot of things.
We'll do a post-birth
Exactly. Watch me come
episode.
back. I'm going to have to go. I'm going to go home and I'm going to
Get
start
all the
talking
books
about
out.
it. And Mitch is going to, well, this happened and this happened.
about
and
that?
this
What about
happened.
that?
And then I'll say it to my mum, and then they'll go,
Yeah.
this happened. So when you talk to other people who was with it as well,
Yeah.
they'll remind you.
It is true.
But it just shows actually how we don't plan these conversations.
No, we don't. We just dive straight
And
in.
I feel like it's such kind of it is one of the biggest moments, most special moments of your life.
Yeah.
And I don't want to miss anything, especially if this
No.
is going to be like a thing for, if anything, a little archive for us.
Yeah.
And
for the kids to go like, oh, where's that episode? And they talk about when, and it's like,
I don't wanna
thanks, Mum,
miss-
you give me 2 minutes.
Yeah, I don't want to miss anything, especially
Yeah.
because Mason is the only one with a baby book. So at least let me try and get it all out in here. This is for the other 2.
Yeah, I don't think I've done Hayden one.
This is what I'm trying to say. There's so much.
Or even printed any. There's no photos of Hayden in our house.
Yeah, going on 2 tattoos. Oh, shit, I need to
Yeah.
print that.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
We'll save that. We'll stop there.
We need to
so
stop,
hopefully
otherwise
that
we're gonna
wasn't
go
too gory for you.
I thought we kept it quite nice, actually.
PG, yeah,
I think,
quite PG, not too
Considering what it
gory.
could have
So
been like.
if you want to be a mum and you haven't been a mum, then there's multiple stories there for
Yeah.
you. For those of you that have, you can sympathise with us.
Yeah.
And for the dads, just do what you're told and be as helpful as possible.
Just be there. That's the only thing. Just
Yeah.
literally just being there is enough.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't really need much apart from the flannel and some water.
Yeah.
Just be
I
there.
just needed a pocket.
Yeah, there you go. You don't even know how useful you can be. But no, that's we'll pause there and we'll bring you post-birth stories next time.
Defo.
Have a nice weekend.
See you later.